Okay, we are very pleased to have the busiest man in cricket at the moment. We welcome to 98 Layout, Mr. Dinesh Karthik. Dinesh, how are you doing?
Very good, Dan. Very good. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's an absolute honour and a pleasure, sir. So 2021 has been a busy year for yourself. You've been travelling all over the world. I gather you had a bit of a journey from India up to the UK this year.
Yes. So when I had decided to come for the World Test Championship, they had this traffic light system called the green, amber, and red. And we were definitely part of red at that point of time. So there was no way of getting in. So then we had to fly to a amber country, stay there for 10 days and then come. And most of the countries had India on the red list. But luckily for us, when I say us, at that point of time, it was me and Sunil Gavaskar. So then we flew to Serbia. We stayed there in Belgrade for about 10 days, which was a great experience before flying out to UK.
And then you've been in the UK all summer, and a very busy summer it's been as well with the World Test Championship, which was kind of spoilt a little bit by the weather, but we got a game in the end. And I think between the two best Test playing countries in the end, so it was the right teams that made the final, I think. It's just a shame there wasn't a full house to watch it.
Yeah, it's just that's the sad part of the game, because given a full house, I'm sure the atmosphere would have been electric. But because of the COVID situation and the fact that only the crowds, the ground could have a 50% capacity, and more so the fact that it rained incessantly throughout the game at various points of time, made it really hard for the crowds to get in. But in spite of all that, the cricket was good. I think New Zealand played a terrific brand of cricket. India tried well to compete, but weren't good enough in that game. It's absolutely right what you said, in the sense that the two best teams played that final.
India now in the middle of a huge Test series against England. They were last year in 2018, and India get fantastic support when they visit England and the UK. And we saw a bit at Lord's. Lord's was a bit more like a full house that we're used to seeing. Off to Headingley this time. It's been a fantastic series so far. Lots of high energy, high tempo cricket. What was it like being at Lord's and seeing it firsthand?
It was outstanding. And I say that only because the crowds were very good. And generally the crowd that comes to Lord's has two sides to it. One is a very corporate atmosphere. One is a very cricket, cricket enthusiasts come there as well. So I think both were well served. It was a great test match. India started really well. England in many ways dominated the middle part of it, especially thanks to Joe Root. But then at the end, India picked the post. So it was a great test match. I think it ebbed and flowed in various directions, and it was a lovely test match to be part of.
And up to Headingley for the next one in Leeds. I think you're going to get a big Indian contingent of fans up there coming to see Virat and the boys playing. That's going to be an occasion.
Oh, yes. I think just the fact that India won this test match, and there's a bit of a rivalry shaping up in the form of a little bit of energy going, a little bit of what I can say, a very competitive energy flowing between both teams. And it'll be an interesting 3 test matches to follow. And Leeds obviously has a very huge contingent of Asians there, so I'm expecting a lot of crowd support for India.
I was really surprised, because in the past, England have been a team where they have been giving out the aggression and giving out the verbals. So it was quite interesting to see them on the receiving end for a change, and to see how they reacted. But for me, that makes Test cricket.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's new age India, isn't it? They are young, they're vibrant. They don't mind being in your face. At times they could even cross the line, but as a viewer, when I watch it, I like that spicy Indian team that I'm watching right now. They make it far more interesting. And England, in all fairness, obviously they're competing, they're trying as well. In their home conditions, they have a lot to play for. And you can see that with every test match, it's only going to get better and better and more competitive, I feel.
And of course, Lord's is special for you because you made your debut for India at Lord's.
Absolutely, yeah. I made my ODI debut in Lord's in 2004. So it has a special place in my heart.
How does it feel? I ask a lot of players about Lord's. Everyone says, whether they're international or domestic, Lord's is the place. Just tell me what it's like playing your first game at the home of cricket like that.
In many ways, it's a little surreal because, you've seen this ground, for an Indian, one of the greatest moments an Indian cricket fan has been part of is Kapil Dev lifting that trophy in 1983. You've seen that in the Lord's balcony. You know the history and heritage attached to Lord's. So when you do come to the ground, walk through the long room, it's a very it's a feeling that's hard to put into words. But I'm very lucky that I made my debut there, and it has a very warm place in my heart.
And talking of iconic grounds, the new stadium at Ahmedabad looked quite a place. It wasn't quite full when England played India there earlier in the year, but I think that's going to be an incredible venue when everything's back to normal.
Oh, most definitely. I think it is, in terms of capacity, the largest cricket stadium in the world, can house up to 110,000, which is a lot of people. And if when you get 110,000 Indian fans together, it can be very raucous. I do think it's a pretty daunting ground in many ways. Just the walk into the ground from the pavilion is a pretty long one, pretty steep one actually, with an amount of steps. So it's a lovely ground. It looks good. It has some very interesting wickets that we did see in the test matches, but it played really well to T20 as well. So it has got all the makings of being a very special venue in India.
You mentioned T20. I'm just looking at the calendar for the India team for the rest of the year. It's really, really busy now. I mean, obviously, you've got this big series, the Test series against England, then there's some white ball games, IPL, and then straight into the T20 World Cup in the UAE. How are the guys feeling? Do you think that it's too much, or are they up for this challenge?
Something that they've signed up for. They're aware of everything. It's just that the fact that because the IPL we weren't able to finish the IPL. Midway, we had to stop due to the issues that happened related to COVID. We had to push it back by a few months, and a window was given by ICC, and the IPL have rescheduled those matches which weren't played. So obviously, it's a little tight on the schedule. But once we get into IPL, we're only playing about 6-7 games in about 3 weeks. So it's not as bad as it looks. So it's fine. It's just that we're all going to be playing some cricket in the lead up to the World Cup.
And that can only be good to keep you sharp. You've been a big part of the 100, this brand new, shiny new competition, which is dividing cricket fans between the traditional ones and the new fans that have come. I've been watching this really closely and looking at the people that are attending. It's clearly bringing new fans to the ground. It's helped the women's game. And you guys in the commentary box seem to be really enjoying yourselves. How's it been for you?
Oh, I think it's a terrific tournament. Just the format by itself, I've thoroughly enjoyed, because it's very interesting. How I look at it from a very captaincy tactical point of view, and it has a lot of areas for you to work on as a captain. When do you give the 10 ball over? What sort of fields are you going to keep, especially the pace of the game, with the fact that if you're slow, you have to add an extra fielder towards the back end of the game, which could prove very costly. I do feel from a tactical point of view, it's very interesting. But what I enjoy most is how short and crisp it is. If you do want to make it a very global sport, the shorter and crisper it is, the better it is the better the chances that it's going to have over a period of time. With cricket trying to compete in Olympics, and there are some major plans, and if you do want to take it global, it's a great format. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, from the Combox, from the pod, it's been a lot of fun. It's it's young and vibrant set pod as well, just like the players there. So we have had a lot of fun. The banter amongst us has been good. I do think it will take time to settle down, because, as you said, there's a bit of friction between the old fans and obviously the new ones coming in. And one of the main aims is to integrate both those together. One of the main aims of the tournament was to keep the old fans in their place, but also bring in some new fans, which the sport was lacking to an extent. And the biggest winner of it all has been the women's cricket, the kind of support they have had and the quality of cricket they have played as well.
It's right. It's absolutely. And it's the same. I can remember when T20 first came in 2003, there was the same kind of debate about the quality of this. And you can go back further and further, even when limited overs cricket was first brought in. It was the same thing of traditionalists versus change, if you like. There are some people that are just resistant to change, but then after a while, they look at it properly and they think, oh, it's not so bad.
Most revolutions that have happened in the world over a period of time are resistance caused by a lot of people who are not able to look at the bigger picture, and eventually they decide to, because they're pushed into a corner where they have to, and then they realize, wow, it was the right decision by the people who are deciding it at that point of time. So I do think this format is going through that. Yes, there have to be a little bit of changes around it in terms of how you're going to schedule it. And I do think Alan Fordham, who's in charge of the schedules for ECB, will obviously have a tough job on his hand. But if they can make it work, I do think this is a tournament that the players have enjoyed playing. Most importantly, it's got a lot of young spectators and a very partisan crowd to each of the franchises, which is good to watch.
Yeah. Why I'm interested in India. T20 really took off once the IPL came along and the Indian fans and players got behind it. What was the success or the key to the success that in India amongst fans and players? Why did it explode so much in India?
Number one, I don't think there was a concept like that where foreigners, integrated with Indians to play any tournament. So it was one of a kind at that start. Imagine a Brendan McCullum and a Saurav Ganguly opening together. It was just fabulous to watch. Misbah ul Haq and a Rahul Dravid together, a Jack Kallis and a Rahul Dravid together. So it was just fascinating to watch. You've always seen them compete against each other, be on different sides of the field. But when they joined together and play in a team, it was very novel. It was great to watch. Imagine Ricky Ponting, Brendan McCullum, and Saurav Ganguly were part of the first ever KKR team. It is, when you hear it, you feel a little bit of goosebumps because they're special players, captains for their nations, legends of their, legends for their countries and for the sport as well. When they play together, it's just a fascinating view, so to say. And, many credit to the way they handled it. And also have to understand India, is a big country with a massive population, and most importantly, they have a huge appetite for cricket. And when you throw something so new and so interesting at them, they were going to take it, obviously take it in with both hands. But the beautiful part about IPL is it's become a global tournament in many ways. People almost all over the world know what an IPL is, which is where the tournament is taken off. If you do have a look at a few of the stats, from the little I know, it competes in many ways with an NFL, with an NBA, with an EPL. So these are sports and tournaments that have been here for, you can call it almost decades, if you may say it. And, they all have a legacy. To come in and within 15 years, try and establish that kind of market share is something that the IPL can be very proud of. And also the fact that the cricketing fraternity can also be very proud of the fact that, they are able to play a sport which has reached, to high proportions.
Well, it's the energy and the spirit of it is undeniable. And it's always a great occasion when India come to England and bring all of that atmosphere, and it translates, whether it's test matches, whether it's T20s, or even whatever. Just having India here is always a massive boost to the game of cricket, and having you here, Dinesh, has been an absolute pleasure as well. You've really brought something to the commentary box, and we're loving your sense of style, your range of sunglasses, and what you're bringing in terms of expertise and comment has been absolutely amazing. So, as a cricket fan and on behalf of cricket fans, I really thank you for all that you've done for us this summer.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you. Cheers.
Now, before you go, on this show, we are a mixture of cricket and music, and we ask all of our guests to request a track, and it can be absolutely anything, and the more diverse, the better. So, do you have a favorite track you're listening to at the moment, or maybe one of your go-to music?
One of my favorite bands is actually Coldplay. So, Coldplay, Viva La Vida. I love that song. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll play that for you. Dinesh, I know you're really busy. I'm going to let you get on. But many, many thanks for joining us. It's been a real pleasure, and wish you well, and try and get some rest amongst this busy schedule.
Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.